It's video time. You're gonna have to be okay with the angle here. I know it's not the best. Maybe I can prop that up. Try not to move too much. But I'm hanging out on the hammock outside, relaxing, trying to get a little sunshine, those sort of things. Um, you know, Instagram is social media in general is a strange world that just keeps evolving so fast, and I'm one of the type of people that I get very annoyed with this sort of stuff, because truly I want to teach, I want to talk, I want to say the things that are on my mind, I want to play around, I want to do my stupid comedy, I want to do everything, I want to talk jiu-jitsu, um, but I don't, and a lot of the times I don't get into a habit of doing it, or I don't start just putting it out there daily like I am right now. Just, it doesn't matter. Unedited, I'm going to give you a little bit more of probably long form content, because that's what I just like to talk. I like to lay this stuff out. So, but again, like unedited, unscripted, not trying to truly play the social media game. And I think that's what always annoys me in social media. And this is just my own personal problems. It's not like anything that's right or wrong, or should be. These people are playing a game. They're doing a damn good job, and they're spending lots of time editing content, and they're linking up with videographers, and they're just doing all sorts of stuff that they should be rewarded with a bigger following and more monetary value to their stuff, because they're busting their ass and they're playing the game in that zone, in that place. And I've had to become comfortable with that and realize that that's what that is, and that I don't have to scream at the mountaintops and try to argue and fight my way into existence of a world that I truly don't want to be in. So it's kind of weird. I know, when you think about it that way. But I started thinking about wanting to get on here and just, not for this to take off and go viral, but for this to just reach the hands of, my friends, family, followers that may find fun, may find some of my jokes one day exciting, but may find some value in my message and the principles I try to teach, with physical culture, health and wellness, fitness, working out, whatever you want to call this niche. I've had a lot of time of playing in this world. I've done a million different things, and I actually really want to set out a timeline and really put out an episode or a video where I really, from a long form standpoint, break down and go all the way back to when this started for me back in basically 2005. Give you a more detailed of what I was learning, what I was applying, what was working, what wasn't, what made me change to the next thing, what happened upon each one of these changes, what sort of injuries that I get along the way that have led me to where I am today. There's a lot of valuable information that I'm still trying to digest myself and challenge myself to apply what I know inside. It's very hard, because this is such a psychological game, and for anybody who's followed me knows that I've preached take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your body for years upon years. I've talked about quality, I've talked about the importance of food and sleep, and I've talked about the importance of being here now, being present, having a mental practice, a psychological, like a therapist, whether it's with a therapist, whether it's with yourself. We need a mental practice to be able to really you know, to dissect our shadows and really see what we're doing unconsciously, or that some of the things we know we need to change that we haven't changed yet. We have to be able to step back and examine those from a different lens and start to see maybe what they're going to do in, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. So even upon preaching all this stuff, even upon teaching all this stuff every single day, pretty much, I have a hard time, myself. I like to push the limits, and I have so many different scapegoats, like so many different things I could say that the reason is. It's kind of funny because every extreme, it's an extreme, but it's in the health world or the fitness world. So it has like this fitness or health component to it. And we kind of like, oh, well, this is an extreme thing I do, but yeah, guess what? Like, this leads to better health. And the extreme thing you're doing doesn't lead to better health. And so therefore my thing is justified and it's better than yours. And that's just, no, like fitness can be very, very, very not healthy. And I think for the most part, sadly, I believe that the industry, and I believe that the majority of the fitness industry is more unhealthy than healthy. I believe we as teachers and coaches and educators have done a good job at getting people motivated, consistent. We've done a good job of applying exercise in all forms of different ways to all different styles of people. We've taught people fitness, we've taught people strength conditioning, we've taught people so much that has so much value, but we failed to really educate and teach people of truly finding who they are as an individual, like their body. There's this blueprint. You get into the gym, and of course it just starts small, but like the deeper this stuff goes, the more you start to find out about you. How your joints work, what their true in range is, what exercises or exercise variations are truly good for you. What exercise volume and frequency that you recover from and you get the best results, because it's going to be different for everybody. We can stick everybody into a bigger cookie cutter approach, and we've kind of done that. And yes, we switch it into like more like specialized niches and stuff, but we're not teaching the human all the underlying principles of the human body, the physical flesh, what it's capable of, how it moves, how it, how we feed it, how we fuel it, how we think to it, how we examine it, how we understand the differences between, just for example, your friend that's maybe into yoga and stuff is like taller, longer, skinnier, hypermobile, lacks a lot of stability, and is not as strong. And then you are shorter, stockier, tighter, less flexibility, more stability, stronger. And like, you have to understand, at a general level, just the complete opposites of the end of the spectrum of these two humans. And of course they could find both benefit in reaching in the other person's glass, going that direction, but how far? Like, they both don't have to try to get to each other. It's not optimal. It's not going to work. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is, we're good at teaching people how to exercise. We're good at dieting people down, putting them on programs, putting them on like templates that have been proven over time, and motivating them and getting them to do this, and things are going to happen. And if somebody gets injured, it's very unfortunate. Maybe they weren't doing it very correctly, but maybe a lot of them were adhering to pretty good form and pretty good quality, but they just weren't aware of what it was doing over time, what it was doing to the ligaments, the tendons, the joints, the way that they were loading themselves. So I don't even know where to go with that ramble right there, besides kind of telling you like I'm in a new phase in my life. I've gone strong for 20 years, and like I said, I'm going to break down an entirely different video where I really bust out a timeline and give you some in-depth stuff of how extreme I've gone to all ends of the spectrum, whether it be physical exercise, whether it be dieting, and the extremes I've gone mentally in psychological practice. I've taken them all to the brink of where they've become not healthy and they've become unhealthy. And I've been aware of that, and I've struggled just like everybody else that struggles with things in their life of applying the things that I needed to apply. And so, now we're at a different place in life where I'm going to be embarking on, a few operations, a few setbacks, a few things that have finally emerged to this point. I knew this day was going to come at some time. And it's kind of funny because it doesn't scare me. It actually brings me a little bit of joy. I get to go back to where I feel I started with this before it all started cascading into what I would call extremes, like chasing extremes and pushing the limit, and letting that tax me the way it did, both physically and mentally. So this is kind of like it's like a rebirth in training. I've had 3 of these, and this is going to be the biggest by far, but I've had like 3 distinct moments in which like the entire being was kind of put on pause, and I'm also allowed the opportunity to reinvent myself, because I can't be a fool. You go into some operations, you come back, you get right back into trying to carry those boats and that torch that you were carrying before, and it's not going to work. That's not how evolving and aging and longevity, it's not how those things are sustained or built or anything. So I'm looking forward to the 40-year-old me and the 40-year-old and on version of what fitness, longevity, health, food, all those things, the green strength way. I'm looking forward to reinventing myself and being able to reprocess a lot of this stuff, repackage it, re-deliver it, reapply it, all the above. And this is truly like the time I feel like I'm most excited, because like I feel like I have the most knowledge overall to actually give. Now, this knowledge, like a lot of things, this is like, are we talking macros? Are we talking programs? Are we talking training systems and stuff? Like, that's what every coach talks about. We've been geeking out on that stuff since we got into this. My wisdom comes much deeper than that. Okay, it's back to like I was talking about. I'm sure we can talk about the conjugate method, West Side training. We could talk about 5-3-1. We could talk about all the exercises and the recommendations and how to eat, move, and be healthy by Paul Chek. We can talk about Poliquin principles, the beautiful encyclopedia of hypertrophy and strength by Charles Poliquin. We can talk about the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding from Arnold Schwarzenegger. We could talk about super training and Mel Sif and Verkhoshansky, and we could do all that, of course, and like we could talk about sets and percentages and stuff. But again, we're not getting back to what I was talking about before, and that is like educating you as who you are, how you move, how you can be on a journey of figuring out the most enjoyable but optimal exercise to accomplish your goals. And if that requires power, athlete type things, then yeah, we've got to figure out which sort of system, which sort of volume, which sort of frequency, which sort of all that is going to be good for you. And then when we get into diet, like we're in a world right now where I've really enjoyed trolling the carnivore people because they're fucking crazy, and they just go nuts. And it seems like none of them. I mean, there's some out there that I actually like that are I know that kind of have a little bit of wisdom and some value, and I'm like, okay, you've been onto this stuff like since I've been onto this stuff, for sure. But I find that most of these people yabbing and just following the algorithm content type of thing of like, I have to put out this type of video and say these sort of things because this is what gets the likes. And now, like, how do you have a profile that's like literally on your bio that's like 30 days carnivore now? It's like, are you gonna change that every day, or like it's such a short-lived thing you just started to be all in the way you are, where you're like your entire life online is posting your meals on a cutting board. But they're so fun. I like talking shit. And I feel with the carnivores, I'm getting off on a rant here, but I feel with my trolling of the carnivores, I really do feel that I'm kind of like 10 for 10. Like I'm like 100% right now in these arguments that I've got. I like my language. So I'm waiting for somebody to really like, kick me in the ass and make me feel like an idiot. I know it's going to happen. They will. But what I was saying with diet is like, the green strength way is eat real food. One of the three pillars is, the three pillars of the green strength way, the green strength philosophy, the way I see this. This is all the stuff. We eat real food. We do daily mindful movement. That means working in. Every day we move mindfully. We do feel-good movements. And yes, of course, we need to strength train and do all those things, but this is what the underlying stuff is. That before you start all these crazy programs and shit, you better start to eat real food, move mindfully daily, and attention to breath. Be here now. Start to become present. That is only going to help you if you're fucking training hardcore too, because you've got to focus. You have to train. This is not a place where you disconnect, okay? Training is where we train. The feel-good movement and stuff can be where we disconnect and we flow and we start to relax and we pay attention to breath. And you got to be locked in when you need to be locked in, and you need to be relaxed when you need to be relaxed. And that is part of being present and being here now. So, people, we need to eat real food. And then once you're eating real food, yes, the next step is to make sure that your protein is optimal and that you're getting in your protein. And then the next thing is going to be start to just examine the balance of how many calories you're at. Like, where's your protein and fat and carb ratio here? Like, let's go, okay, what kind of balance do I want? Now I can kind of work on that. And then you're going to start to find, like, do you need to go more extreme? Do you need to eliminate an entire macronutrient and become a carnivore, or become an animal based dieter, or become a paleo dieter, or become a ketogenic this or that, or a vegan? Like, I don't know. There's I have my own opinions, but there are people that thrive on all sorts of shit, man. And like, until they've consistently eaten real food and they live that lifestyle, then they've earned the right to start taking these things away. So I kind of find it weird when they don't take them away. Or, I find it weird when they just go like from like 0 to 100 all the time, and nobody like ever lives in this like normal world of eating real food, making sure they get enough protein, seeing how they start to feel, and like then examining, okay, do you really have a gluten intolerance? Do you really have celiac disease? Do you really have like all these autoimmune diseases that a little bit of the broccoli that you're eating now, the sweet potato, whatever, is like fucking you up? Because if it is, now you can start pulling things away and you can get to a point of still real food, but you fucking have like done it. You've put in the work. Like, you haven't just gone from a shitty lifestyle to straight to keto, lost weight. Of course you lost inflammation and stuff because you stopped fucking eating carbs and all this shit. And then you're like, you never know how to even like add any of those back in. You start to add in a piece of fruit and this and that, and you don't even know what to do. It's just like This is the industry. It's all fucked up. And we try to lead you down these worlds instead of leading you to a physical baseline to then further express who and what you are and learn how to fucking do it better for you. Okay? So, that is going to be this is my plan, man. I told you I'm about to go through some fucking surgeries. I'm about to have some changes, and I'm about to absolutely go nuts on the way I come back from these, the way I reinvent myself, the way that I exercise. And so I'm going to use this, since I'm going to have a lot of time anyways, I'm going to use this to really get motivated and just get on here and just not give a fuck about chasing the online world. And just whoever's out there, whoever's watching this, great. I love you. I hope you're, if I don't know you, I hope I can teach you something or bring some sort of value your way or inspire you in some way, or maybe vice versa. Maybe it's you helping me pull my head out of my ass and continue to really bite down and win the actual battle, our individual battles, where we hold our own vices on the things that we even know would do us good. And it takes us time to really get that stuff done. You see that with people in working out and eating better all the time. They're just like, it's hard to, they want to, they know. It's like, I get it. Like, guess what? Mine's a little bit on the other extreme side of things, but I have that too, and we all have to battle that. So we're all in this together. I just wanted to be able to share a wide variety, 2 decades of just literally eat, sleeping, and breathing, and living this world, this lifestyle, everything that had to, to come with it. Every book, I followed every certification, I've followed every trainer, I've seen a lot of shit, and I love talking about this stuff. And if you can pull your head out of your ass in the sense of like you're not dogmatic and stuck on one thing, and you can start to actually get into the conversation, I think you will find that I could take you on a full journey, and I can start to connect the dots that you think that you might have a question about, So, or I can send you down some rabbit holes. I can introduce you to the right people who can obviously spark the creativity, spark the knowledge, and give you what you are seeking. So, more of these to come. These are just going to be times where I get on here and I start to share, and I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, here coming really soon, I do want to put out kind of like a full timeline so that I can kind of get to what procedures I'm going to be having done, how the fun of like tracing those back all the way 2 decades even almost. But the funny part about that is I'm going to be able to show you how much incredible, crazy ass shit physically I was able to accomplish while still having times of pain, having times of dysfunctional movement patterns, pushing past, just being an asshole about it. Some. And it's funny because the entire industry, all the certifications I was around, all the high-level coaches I've been around, everybody, they jump on board to that shit. Hooray. You're the strongest. You're the leanest. You're the best. You're the most hybrid. You do this, like, oh, you're going to get your shirt at Jim Jones because you fucking have all these standards. You're so badass and strong. Right. So you can perform and still fuck yourself up, guys. That's what they don't teach you. So what we've got to do is change the narrative, change the conversation, start to figure out how do we perform, and we survive, but we thrive, okay? And that is going to have to really be figuring ourselves out and really having a disconnection with our ego to make sure that we are not training for something that is not truly serving us. I don't know. there we go. I just probably rambled all over the place, and you probably don't know what the hell I said. But maybe that'll leave you waiting for more the next time. So until then, I guess I will tell you one more thing. I'm about a month away from my first surgery. And so right now, I am just trying to rid the body of inflammation, rid the body of all that stress and overworking and high frequency, high volume. So what I'm trying to do is do about 50% less in daily activity as far as steps and things like that. So yeah, fucking walking every day like I talk and like I preach, but instead of walking 30 minutes, maybe I'll walk 15. Maybe I'll spend a little bit more time doing some feel-good stretches, doing some breathing. And for resistance training, I'm about to, I'm doing BFR. I'm doing a shitload of BFR, and I'm playing with all sorts of different ways, both aerobically and resistance training wise, to just absolutely, this is bad language to use, don't get it this way. Like, I absolutely want to murder my muscles and send blood and create hypoxia and like really hormonally disrupt things in a very short amount of time. But I just love, and I'm trying to unload the joints, and so it feels so amazing to really just have zero joint stress, zero joint pain and discomfort with that stuff, but be able to start to annihilate the muscles. So I don't know, I'm going to get into all that stuff. I'm going to kind of share my journey and my comeback with this. So just know right now, before surgeries, I'm eating good. I'm probably eating definitely in a little excess calories, and I don't give a fuck about that right now. It's all real good food. So I'm eating a lot of food. I'm trying to sleep more. I'm trying to walk often, but walk less. Don't get it twisted, just not excessively adding steps up into my day. But just making sure that I get movement snacks in, feel good movement snacks. Resistance training wise, I'm going to absolutely, and I continue to keep stress off the joints and absolutely murder the muscles with the BFR and create a hormonal environment for a while, get these surgeries, and then we're on the comeback. Be swinging maces around before too long, and it'll be a beautiful day. So until next time, start to think, what are your true goals? What are the areas that you've always, like when you really think about it, that's some areas of concern you just can't figure out, some things that you just can't figure out. Things make sense when you read them and stuff, but you just struggle with them. And if you can find those things, feel free, reach out, share them to me. DM me, message me, whatever, you know how to find me. All right? Adios.